Most people think a spiritual awakening looks like this: sitting in meditation for hours and feeling zen and happy all the time. But for most people going through an awakening, things are a little bit more complicated than that. There are so many changes happening inside and outside, and some of these changes are bizarre and quite unexpected. Just kidding! You won't grow angel wings, I promise. But you can experience some things that may frighten you at times or leave you wondering what the heck is going on. And if that's the case, this video will help you feel more understood and make sense of some of the weirdest aspects of a spiritual awakening. I'll share 5 bizarre things that can happen during an awakening and what you can do about them. The first thing is changes in physical appearance. This is one of the most common and a little bit bizarre features of a spiritual awakening, because a lot of times your physical appearance can change so radically that you can actually change features altogether. And I remember this actually happening to me after my spiritual awakening. A few months after my spiritual awakening, my body, my physical appearance changed so much that I actually went home, and when I went home on vacation, a lot of people didn't actually recognize me at first, and it was because my body had changed a lot. One of the biggest things that happened was I lost a lot of weight very, very quickly, to a point where I was even a little bit stressed that I was losing weight too quickly. But it really was all of this stored trauma inside of me was being resolved, and the energy was being processed. And so I was naturally losing a lot of water retention, water weight that I had had over the years. But the physical appearance changes can be deeper than that. You can actually go through physical features changes like your face. My face changed, my eyes changed. All of these things happen, and I've worked with thousands of people who've gone through the same thing. Their physical appearance changes in really profound ways. Sometimes you can actually have appearance changes that are temporary. So an example of that would be if you're going through an ascension process, if you're going through an upgrade process, it's very common to actually gain water weight temporarily as your body retains the water to go through the energy changes. Water is a conductor of energy. And so a lot of times when we're going through ascension process, the body will retain water temporarily, and then it'll let it go after that ascension phase has been complete. So this is common. There are some physical appearance changes that could be temporary and some that could be permanent, like these facial feature changes, body weight changes. All of these things very, very common, and sometimes to a point where people think that this is quite bizarre, because one day they'll look in the mirror and they don't even recognize the reflection that they're seeing back at them. So body appearance, very common change with a spiritual awakening. One thing too related with body appearance that I want to stress here, because this happens a lot during a spiritual awakening, is that your eyes will change. I've talked about that a little bit, but I want to go deeper into this so that you can really understand what's going on. A lot of times when we're going through this spiritual awakening, we're healing so much stored trauma. We're getting rid of negative beliefs. We're really just removing all of the gunk and all of the energy density that we have on top of us, and that maybe grew up with this energy density through trauma and life experiences and all of the things that have happened to us down here. When we go through the spiritual awakening and we start healing, one of the most common things that happens to the eyes is your eyes will actually change. They'll become brighter. They'll become more alive. I've had people say that the eyes become more alive. It feels like you're really looking into that person's soul. The eyes are no longer glassed over, okay? If you notice, I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a lot of times if you're walking around the street, a lot of people who are unawakened or who have unprocessed trauma inside of them, their eyes will look like they're glassed over. It's almost like there's something is dead inside of them. And that's because of all of the trauma that they have that hasn't been dealt with, the things that haven't been healed. As soon as you go through that and you kind of activate that spiritual awakening and you start doing the healing work, your eyes will clear up and they'll become brighter, and it feels like you're looking at that person's soul. And I'm sure you've probably experienced this when looking at, a spiritually enlightened being. You look into their eyes and it feels like you're staring into their soul. That's how intense their eyes are. So this is a really common feature that you may have actually experienced in yourself. So if your body goes through all of these changes, don't get hung up on what's happening. Treat your body really, really well. It has this beautiful innate intelligence. So trust that innate intelligence. It knows what it's doing during a spiritual awakening, and learn to flow with the changes of the body. Learn to flow with those changes and just see where they lead you, okay? The body is really, really intelligent. It knows what it's doing during a spiritual awakening, and you can just continue to assist it. There's nothing really for you to do with all of these body changes. You just keep doing your spiritual work and let the energy process and let your body use its intelligence to know exactly where to take you on your awakening. So I want to repeat something that's super important because I work with so many clients that struggle with this, okay? Learn how to work with the innate intelligence of your body because it knows exactly what it's doing during a spiritual awakening. So I want to leave you with an affirmation that maybe you could write down, put it on the refrigerator so you remember this. The innate intelligence of your body knows what to do during an awakening. Oh, this is so important to remember. And a lot of times I'm saying this because I've worked with people who, for example, when they're going through an ascension phase, their body gains a little bit of weight to hold on to that water so that the energy processes faster, and they start to panic. They think, oh my God, I need to get on a diet, I need to exercise more, I need to do this and that and the other because I'm getting heavier, and they start to panic, and really, it's just a temporary thing that your body is doing. So if you get on a diet and try to starve yourself to get rid of that weight, you're actually working against the innate intelligence of the body that's trying to hold on to water so that it processes the ascension phase a lot faster, okay? So flow with the innate intelligence of your body. Everything is okay, but the changes in physical appearance are something very normal during a spiritual awakening, even if it's bizarre to you. Hello, beautiful soul. We'll get back to the video in just a second, but first I wanted to let you know that my 2023 Heart Accelerator Retreat is now open, and I'm so excited to get to work with our beautiful community of light workers in person from October 22nd through the 29th in the south of Portugal. Enrollment is now open and spots are extremely limited as this is the only retreat that I'm doing this year. This retreat takes everything that I teach here on YouTube and takes it to another level, and you experience a profound healing and transformation from the incredible group energy that's channeled at this event. On this retreat, you'll experience daily group coaching, body movement classes, outdoor activities, powerful nightly ceremonies, and the joy of connecting to your soul tribe and meeting people who know exactly what you're going through and can help. If this resonates with you, click on the link below to learn more about this life-changing retreat and how to join. I hope to see you there. The second weird thing to happen is personality changes. And this is a big one. This is probably one of the hardest things to happen to people during a spiritual awakening. It's one of the hardest things for them to get used to is their personality, their entire personality changes. So your likes and dislikes will change. Your passions may change. The way you see the world may change. Your entire outlook on life changes. And one of the main ways that this happens is through what's known as ego death. And that means your ego is that part of you that creates a personality. It creates an identity of I, of you, separate from the world. And during a spiritual awakening, that ego will die sometimes multiple times. It'll die and be reborn multiple times. And that can be really hard because it feels like your entire, it's not just that it feels like, it's actually happening. Your entire sense of self just completely dissolves. And that can be really jarring for people because it feels like they're losing, the rug of life is being pulled from underneath them. They lose their identity. Sometimes they don't even know who they are anymore. And that can be a little bit stressful for people. So this ego death issue is something that's very, very common. It's a little weird quirk of a spiritual awakening, but something you have to get used to because these personality changes and these ego deaths may happen time and time again, a lot of times before your ego actually stabilizes and the new self that you're becoming emerges. Now, these changes can be so profound that sometimes people can feel like they're going insane. This happened to me. There was more than one occasion during my main spiritual awakening where I thought I was positively going insane. And it's very, very common for this feeling of insanity to come over you because of these ego deaths and these personality changes. Now, if this is happening to you and you feel like you're going positively insane, you have no idea who you are anymore, your complete sense of self is dissolved, I recommend a super book. This beautiful book, this is a life-saving book. It's called The Stormy Search for the Self. This is by the pioneers of transpersonal psychology, Christina and Stan Grof. This is an amazing must-read. If you feel like you're going through the ego death and you're having a lot of difficulties grasping, this book is a must read for you. Read it if you're going through this bizarre sign here, this bizarre issue of personality changes during a spiritual awakening. That's on your must read list. So if you feel like you're going through this right now where your ego is dissolving, your personality is changing, please don't stress about it, because the more that you stress about it, the worse it gets. Just let your sense of self dissolve. You're not going to die. You won't die if your ego dies. So just let it dissolve. It's all part of this spiritual path. And here is a pro tip that's going to be life-saving for you, or at least it's going to save your mental sanity. Here's the pro tip. Do not let others around you influence you, because what happens a lot of times is that when we are going through profound spiritual awakening and our ego is dying, our personality is changing, we're changing, and the people around us may have a lot of difficulties with that. And a lot of times we can receive judgments from the outside world, from the people that are closest to us. So sometimes that could be in the form of comments like, I don't recognize you anymore. Who have you turned into? I don't know who you are anymore. I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but this is one of the most common features around this personality changes, that the people around you may have a negative judgment on the way that you're changing, and this can make things worse and can make you even more stressed out and feel like you're almost like you're being guilt tripped that you're changing. And this is normal. Do not let the people around you influence you. Yes, you're changing. Yes, they don't recognize you anymore. Yes, you're not the person you used to be, but don't take that as a judgment. Even if it's sent to you as a negative judgment, don't take it that way, because that's actually great. It's amazing. Yes, you are changing. Yes, your personality is changing. All of this is wonderful, and it's a part of your spiritual path. The more your personality changes and the more that your ego dies, the closer your human self gets to your soul self, to the essence of who you are and what you're meant to be down here. You become more authentic. You become more truly who you were meant to be. And that's a wonderful thing, even if the people around you can't see that in the moment. The third slightly weird thing that happens during a spiritual awakening is that you become more sensitive. And this is also having to do with the healing of trauma, getting rid of dense energy, and just healing things from past lives and from this life. What that does is it removes the gunk off of your energy system. And as it removes the gunk off of your energy system, you feel things more. And when I say feel, I'm not just saying you feel regular physical things. I'm saying you experience the spirit world more easily also. But there's another thing going on too. It's not just that the energy gunk is coming off of your energy system. It's also that your energy system opens up more. Your chakras open up more, those main energy points of the body. Your aura opens up more. That's the egg-shaped energy field that surrounds your body. All components of what's known as your quantum self, they open up more. And the more you open up your energy, the more you're going to be sensitive. You're going to start feeling the world, feeling the connection of things. You're going to start feeling things much, much more. And this can be a little bit problematic, especially for introverts and people that are already sensitive. And I remember that happening to me when my energy system opened up. I remember one episode where I was sitting on my couch and I just started crying because there was this realization that if I was going to stay that sensitive for the rest of my life, it felt like I was walking around like an open wound. How would I possibly be able to live in this world if I felt like an open wound that was constantly being touched? And so I had a little bit of a tantrum there. I had a little bit of a breakdown there. But then eventually what I understood was that the sensitivity, it wasn't a weakness, it was a superpower. And that I just needed to train myself to remain open, but in my power at the same time. And this may be happening to you too. You become more and more sensitive. You see things more clearly. Everything, you can feel everything with a lot more accuracy. And that's not anything for you to run away from or isolate from. The fourth bizarre thing to happen is that everything gets faster. So as you're healing and your energy system opens up, what's also happening is that your energy system not only gets clearer, like we talked about previously, but your energy system also spins, and it's going to start spinning faster. So your energy system gets faster and it starts to spin faster, and it gets more open, more powerful. Your entire energy system gets more powerful and it spins faster. That aura that surrounds your body, that egg-shaped energy energy field that surrounds your body, it starts to spin faster. And that means that you perceive time in a different way and things happen faster for you, all right? This could be good and this could be bad, all right? Now think about this. Here's a metaphor that'll help you understand this. Picture a really heavy freight train. And that train is just filled with many, many cars, filled with a ton of weight, a ton of freight, and that train is carrying that load along. That train is going to be much slower than a bullet train that's really light, it's not carrying any cargo, and it's just zipping through. A bullet train is much faster than a freight train, and it's because it's lighter. The more that it lets go of its load, it can go faster. The machine, the engines are more powerful also. And so this means that this is exactly what is happening to your energy system. It's getting lighter because you're getting rid of all the dense energy and the trauma and the stuff that you are holding on to. And so now it could speed like a speed train. And that is good and that's bad. There's negatives and there's positives that I'm going to get into on what happens when the energy moves faster and when everything moves faster for you. The good thing about that is that wonderful things start happening to you a lot faster. So your powers of manifestation increase. New opportunities come in. Fresh energy comes in. New people come in. Just amazing synchronicities. You start to meet your soul family. If you want to start a business, your business takes off. There are a lot of different things that happen that are wonderful. You start to have more soul-centered relationships. People start to show up in your life. These are all wonderful things, and it's because that energy system is moving faster. It increases your magnetization power, and so amazing, beautiful things happen in your life a lot faster than they did before. All right, so that's a wonderful aspect of it, but can be a flip side to that too. The flip side is that now that wonderful things are happening and everything's moving so quickly, that also means that anything that you have to heal comes to the surface a lot faster. So any wounds that you have to heal come to the surface quickly. Any triggers that you had, you're triggered immediately. A lot of things come to the surface to be healed. And this is not a bad thing. It just can be uncomfortable at times, all right? So your wounds can be coming up 10 wounds at a time when maybe before only 1 wound at a time would come up to be healed, all right? So all of these things are happening. Now, if this is happening to you right now where you feel like you're being triggered all over the place, or 10 wounds are coming up, or a bunch of wounds are coming up at the same time, here's a cool exercise that will help you kind of calm that energy down and help you work through the healing of the wounds and the healing of triggers. Sit quietly in meditation so you can catch your bearing. Focus on your breathing, using deep, long breaths to calm your body down as you access and interpret the wound that's being triggered, or the multiple wounds that are being triggered. And then journal about what's coming up. The more you write about it, the more that energy processes through your system. This is just one simple way to help you work through if you're being triggered very quickly or if you're having multiple wounds coming up. This simple exercise will be a lifesaver for you because it'll ground your energy and it'll help you work through each wound a lot faster too. The fifth weird thing that can happen is that you start to see clearly, all right? Now what this means is that with all of the healing and the energy processing of the spiritual awakening, your energy system becomes more clear and you're able to see things more clearly. And when I say see things, I'm using air quotes because it's not really a seeing that's happening from the physical eyes. It's a seeing that's happening from your energy system. So it's a more spiritual seeing. And this is happening because your energy system is becoming more purified, more refined. It's more sensitive to interpreting quantum energy. And the more sensitivity that it has, the more clearly it can see, especially from all of your chakras. So all of your chakras are being cleared out. That's those main energy points of the body. But especially something going on here, the third eye, that's your 6th chakra right here on your forehead. That's responsible for psychic vision. And so a lot of what you can see clearly is because all of the gunk has been removed from that third eye. And that's the all-seeing chakra. That's the chakra of psychic vision. So you're able to then see the world as it is a little bit more easily. And you can use the metaphor of a window to kind of think about this. So imagine that you are trying to look out of a window that's really dirty, it's filled with mud, You can't see clearly out of it. But then if someone comes and starts cleaning it and just that window becomes squeaky clean, once that happens, it's almost like the window isn't there. You can see clearly right through that glass again. And that's exactly what's happening on a spiritual level. When this energy field is being purified, when the chakras are being healed and purified, and the veils are coming off of the chakras, you will start to see the world, the spiritual world, and the real world in a more clear way. Now, what happens when your energy system sees better? Here, this seeing, I'll give a few examples so you can understand better. The seeing here that happens when your energy system is clear, you start to see the bullshit of the world. You see right through it. You start to see when people are manipulating you or when they're gaslighting you. That becomes very clear. You start to see when people are authentic or when they're not authentic, when they're wearing masks. That's very, very easy for you to see. You start to see the issues with entrenched systems, whether it be political system, economic systems. You can see the things going on behind the scenes of these entrenched systems. And these are only some examples of the things that you can see clearly with your energy system once your energy system starts to clear up. You can see the world, you can see the things going on behind the scenes a lot more easily. And that's what it means to then have this open energy system that sees more clearly, is that you see all this bull crap going on in the world, okay? And more easily happens also, what more easily happens is that now that you're seeing all of this stuff more clearly, there's another aspect that you have to remember of this is the more clearly I see, the more access, the more readily I have access to my intuition. My intuition speaks to me more clearly, the clearer my energy system is. And that means that if I have better access to my intuition, I will know exactly what steps to take next in my life. That'll become a lot easier because I can have access to that inner knowing that's guiding me every step of the way. Now, speaking of healing stuff, a lot of people ask me whether we ever actually finish healing. Is there a finish line to healing? And I shot a whole video about that here where I answer that question, and I also share some deep truths about healing and ascension that you may want to watch. And help you make sense of certain bizarre and make sense of some of the weirdest aspects of spiritual awakening.